Hello, my Scrappy friends. It is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. Thank you for joining me on part number 3 of my December documented album. So this is part 3 of 4. So there is still one more to go. And in the last one, it'll have a full flip through of the entire finished product and my front cover. And that will be going up next week at this time. So this one, part 3, I am working on day 21 to 31, so the last 10 days. I am starting to run out of supplies, which is awesome. So I'm just progressing through, basically keeping everything in the same general feel of how I had done them before. The pages are super simple. Just going through, really loving the pocket page cards. I'm so happy that I brought those. A, they meant I didn't need to use half as much paper as I would have if I hadn't have brought those cards. And B, the way that they're drawn and the pictures on them are just brilliant. I really enjoyed those and I'm super happy to have used them. But I've probably only got through about half, so I definitely still have a lot more of the pocket page cards that I could keep using. I have used every last skerrick of my A5 pattern paper though, and I will show you that in a little bit more detail. So you can see here this actual 4x6 card, how it's like got the black and white paper, pattern paper, and then it's got a sort of a candy striped pink on the left hand side. That is because the A5 paper is a little bit too small to fit into one of the Simple Stories pockets. The Simple Stories pockets are a little bit larger, and they make them that way, I believe, to sort of allow for more sort of three-dimensional things to go into the pocket. It's got a little bit of wriggle room, I guess you'd say. But in my case, I'm trying not to use too much dimension. And if the pocket is too large, then the cards that are inside, they just fall out. So I have been having to make my cards a little bit bigger than 4x6 size to fit inside the Simple Stories pockets. I hope that made sense. It was a little bit, a lot of words that, anyway. So that is the problem I am having with the 4x6s. So I've been able to use a lot of the paper and just sort of adding little scrap bits. I'm finding that the branding strips that are on the 12x12 pack of paper that I purchased are the right amount. Like just a little branding strip is just enough to fill the side of the of that 4x6 card, just to make it that little bit longer than 6 inches long, and that's all that I've been needing. So I've been finding that works, and then also just some other scraps as well has been working too. So I am up to day number 23 I believe I'm doing now, which is just showing Christmas Eve and mummy sitting down and relaxing now that the boys are in bed asleep. And then the next one, actually, I kind of did them around the wrong way now I think about it. Didn't even occur to me before, is the boys asleep. So I probably should have had these the other way around, with this one being the boys asleep and the next one being mummy sitting down and chilling. But anyway, I'm actually glad I did it this way, because the layout I've created of the boys asleep, it's coming up in 1 second, is super cute, and I think it looks better as a big full 4x6 card. So I decided I wanted to use this little sticker, but it was on a square background, so I just fussy cut it out to be the shape of the actual present, because I felt that worked better. I'm just going to put those in. I've forgotten to put the number sticker on, so I will come back and do that. That was wonky, so I'm just straightening it up. So I was about to put them in. I was like, oh, the number, whoops. So I'm just popping the numbers on. I'm actually having a huge amount of trouble with the numbers. I don't have enough number thickers. I don't have enough of the number 1 or the number 2. So I am just doing the best that I can and using whatever I can find. There's quite a few that are the same. But I actually noticed when I was flicking through my album at the end, I didn't notice that there was some that were exactly the same, or that there was one random pink set or something like that. It all just seemed to flow together quite nicely, so that was good. So this is a 6x8. That sort of cardboard insert there, I believe that came from a different Simple Stories album that came with inserts. I believe the Simple Stories album I'm using this year didn't have any inserts, and that this was just a leftover one I had in my stash. I know that red spotty one that will come up later and the other coloured ones that I used were definitely spare leftover ones, but I think this big cardboard one is a leftover one as well. I'm trying to slide this pocket page card in and under my photo. I'm trying to make this look as seamless as possible, as if it was all part of the pattern paper and it's not an additional pocket card on top of the layout. I want it to just look like there's this beautiful little floral journaling spot on the page. And I think it works. I think I get away with it, which is really cute. And that is where I'm going to put my journaling. And then I'm just doing a little floral cluster, and I chose to do it sort of across the center of the two photos. One, to join the photos together and give them a little bit of flow, and also to try and pull your eye away from like the join line on those, on the pocket, where the pocket page card meets the background. And then that's all that I do. I don't actually fill that little circular frame. I think it looks really cute in just that way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Pop on a few sweet little words. They just say sweet and cherish. Just, I think, perfect little sentiment words to go with the pictures of the two boys fast asleep. And the boys are sharing a room, which I feel was really super game for us. It was basically the first time they've ever shared a bedroom. It was Christmas Eve because my mum and dad was sleeping on the fold-out couch in Thomas's room. And we just thought, oh, let's see how this goes. It's bound to be a disaster. They'll be up at 4 a.m. thinking that Santa has come. But they were amazing. They were super tired, but they slept like logs. And they did not wake up super early, no earlier than any other day. So that was awesome. They were super tired though. We had our Boxing Day lunch at our house with our family. So there had been a lot of excitement for the day. The back, this one is Christmas morning and looking at all the presents, quite a few photos. So I do have a few little interactive sort of fold outs. So there's just that morning one where the presents are there and they're excited to get into them. Then I've just got the flip up of Thomas, but Jack, I had 3 photos. So I've created just like a little waterfall, I guess you could call it, where it's really just one photo with a little sort of folded over tag, but I'm just staggering how I glue those onto the page. So you can see that there are 3 because you can see how they overlap, but you do have to flick them open to actually be able to see them. And I needed to do it that way because I think having a pile of 3 all on top of each other would have been super bulky. And I like the idea of being able to see that there are other photos there and to encourage you to sort of flick them open and have a look at them. And also I definitely needed a space to be able to put the journaling in. So that is what I have achieved. Not a lot of embellishment will go on this page. There is definitely some because it is just so full with all the photos and the journaling and everything like that. I do apologise if you hear any big loud background noise. We're having a little bit of a storm here at the moment, and my house is currently under renovation and we don't have a roof. So it's the middle of a storm. We've got a big tarp across the trusses of the roof. So the roof itself is like flapping, and any loose ropes that haven't been used to tie the tarp on, like banging and smashing against the windows and the side of the house. So it's pretty loud. So I do apologise if there is anything that sounds a bit crazy in the background. Popping on a little flare button, I have made the conscious effort to use the 6 flare buttons on all of these sort of interactive pages and not to put them inside the pockets. I just find them too bulky for inside the pockets. You can, and I have seen people who adhere things that are super bulky to the actual plastic pocket themselves, which I think is a brilliant idea because I think they're just too bulky to go inside the pocket. But I do also know that depending on the glue you use, it can just come off the plastic because sometimes things don't adhere that well, like stickers don't adhere that well to the actual plastic pockets. And in my case, I just decided, well, I don't need to. I've got these interactive pages that I can put them on there. So that is what I have chosen to do. These little thickers have been super handy because I haven't had a lot of room on a lot of my pages. So I've been able to stick those little thicker numbers on in the right spots, which has been cool. So this is, I think they're still in their jammies, so they're not even dressed yet, which is totally fine, just super excited and ready to get going. So we're outside giving the new toys a go. So Jack got like a ninja rope. And my dad and I had worked out where we could put it so that he could use it. So he's out having a turn of his new ninja rope and just loving life. Tom had to wait a little bit longer because I hadn't actually set his up. That is definitely got to be something I need to remember for the future, that toys that come in boxes have all the things already cut so they can just take the toy right out, have the batteries ready, pre-make the things so you're not building on Christmas Day. I actually really enjoy building the things, so I don't even mind building on Christmas Day. It's more that the child is waiting and they're super anxious and like, gimme. So I guess if they've got other toys to play, it doesn't matter so much. But yes, Thomas eagerly was awaiting his barbecue. We have a cubby house outside. He's not in the cubby house now, he's just on the deck. But we have a cubby house outside and the barbecue lives in the cubby house, which is cool. We actually used to have the cubby house down the side of our house and it didn't get that much use because it was kind of a bit of a dingy sort of side yard. But that is now where our ensuite and our laundry is being built onto the side of our house, and we had to move our cubby house. And our cubby house is now in the backyard and it is getting so much more use and it makes so much more sense to have it there. So everyone is enjoying that a little bit more. So this is Daddy opening his Christmas presents. And it's so funny. The tube that Thomas is holding is like the present, as in they thought, what is this? This is amazing. What is this strange object? We want it. It was just a tube of lollies. It wasn't even like, I just randomly threw that in at the last minute. It wasn't even part of his present. But anyway, that was apparently super exciting. What else can I tell you? I'm loving these little fabric stars. I don't always get these interactive bits in as part of the collections because I do sometimes find them a little bit difficult to use, but in this particular one I did get them because I just wanted all the things, and I'm so glad I did. I really like them. I think as well it helps that they're not inside pockets. I think things like those that are like texture based work so much nicer when they're not always inside pockets. I mean, this one is because it's going into my pocket page card, but some of them I've used on the 6x8s that are out of the pocket, and I just really like that it adds that interactive texture that you can actually touch. I like the flare buttons, which I think is cool. All right, going on to this is 27. This is me opening my presents. So my husband and I opening our presents are on obviously separate pages, but they're pages that open onto each other. They open together. So it's like a double page spread, but not. They don't relate to each other. I just liked the placement of that. I liked that they strategically went together. I feel that was a nice little flow. These presents actually were a crafty like a crafty swap with one of my girls from Kidaholic Kits, and the presents spelt out the word Christmas, which was super cool. And we tried to pick things that like went with each letter of, like, you know, H was a silly hat and stuff like that. So that was really fun. There were definitely crafty presents in there too, like ink and things like that. But there were also just some stuff for me, which is nice as well, like bath bombs and stuff. And yeah, we just send those to each other. I've never met these girls in person. We just send those to each other to celebrate Christmas. This is Christmas Day with my husband's family. So this particular layout, I had a lot of photos, and I was not up to an interactive page. Now, I'd originally planned in my head that my interactive pages or my out-of-pocket pages were going to be all like counting by fives. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. They were going to be my out-of-pocket pages of the days. So in my brain, I was like, yeah, that's perfect because 25 is Christmas Day and I will need to do that. But then I remembered that I wasn't counting, my days were just, the dates of the days didn't correspond with the number I was up to. And so when I got up to this one, the Christmas Day, which is 29, I wasn't up to, or no, it might be 27. I wasn't up to being out of pocket. And I'd already just done the one before that was out of a pocket. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do 2 in a row. Kind of ruins the flow and the feel of it. So I ended up keeping it in pockets, but I'm actually doing 2 because I just have too many photos. And I don't really want to make these interactive. I don't have those waterfall pockets. I know they are a thing. I don't have any. And I didn't want to miss out on picking other photos for this layout. That was too difficult. So this is the first one that, so it's going to be a double page spread basically. So this is the first one that will have the number on it. Then I'm going to do another one with just more photos and some more embellishments, but it won't have an additional number. It'll still just be number 28. And this next one is where my numbering system gets a little bit confusing. So as I've mentioned numerous times, my numbers of my events or my stories or what I'm documenting don't correspond with the date. Totally fine until you get to now, Christmas Day, and I'm up to number 28, and I want to use the sticker that says 25. Now, I really questioned whether I put that sticker on this page because it is the 25th of December, or if I put it on the day that I'm counting, or the story that I'm counting, and that story is the 25th. I ended up putting it on this page, but I think it's totally fine. It won't even matter. But as I was doing it, I was like, well, that's confusing because this isn't, I've just put number 28 on the other side. But I'm moving on. I'm not letting it hassle me. Now, you may have noticed then, that was a really bitsy piece of 4x6 card, that bottom pocket page card. The stickers, the photos were even already stuck on it. That was literally the dregs of the dregs to make that pocket page card. They are the tiniest little scraps, all just sticky taped together to create one more 4x6 card because I'd completely run out of cardstock. And I didn't want to cut into a 12x12 page just for one 4x6 card. But I needed to adhere the photos straight on because I didn't want the sticky tape to be showing, and I couldn't even hold the card together. There was that much like dregs on it, little teeny bits, that I had to stick the photos straight onto it. So I couldn't even do those on camera with you. It was crazy. So now I'm almost finished. This is day number 30. Oh, that was something else I wanted to mention. So by making that back there a double page spread, it actually worked in my favor, because otherwise there are only 31 stories and you'd have 32 pages because everything's double-sided. Now, I'd originally thought I would just keep the back of the last one blank because I knew I'd be using this insert, and so that wouldn't look so bad to have it blank. But then when I chose to make the Christmas Day spread a double page spread, I was like, oh, well, that works perfectly, because then I can have 30 and 31 on each side of this card. And I also needed to do that for these photos because, again, I've got so many. I've got a couple of lift up flaps as well. So the picture of grandma, like great grandma, and myself and my sister and the kids is stuck flat, but the ones of grandma and grandpa and the kids and the ones of like the entire family, they both flick open. So I definitely needed this to be an interactive page so that I could fit as many photos as I could. Now, don't forget, next week there will be a flick through of this entire album, so you can actually see all the pages together and just get a better look and a better idea of how it goes. What else? And I'm basically done. I've got one more page to go, which is super exciting. And also next week, the cover art will be in that video where I decorate the front of my album. I know I'm going to keep it super simple this year. I really like the cover of my album, and I don't want to, sort of take too much away from it. I just want to tie in the cover with the collection and with what's going on inside the album. So just popping these on. I realized I was lining up my photo with the bottom of the card, and then realized that the photo's a little bit smaller than the bottom of the card, so I needed to have it in the middle. But anyway, not a big deal. I'm just such a perfectionist with my placement. I had one more flare button and one more star left, so definitely popping those onto this page to finish those off. Pretty much regardless of whether they matched or not, that were going on, because I desperately wanted to use them all. My last little bit of journaling, and just leaving that in super long strips because they fit. Don't need to shrink those down. Did I mention that I just printed these on normal paper, just on a photocopier at work, and have just hand cut them into those strips and into the various sizes depending on what I needed. Might need to go out and tie up some of those ropes. It's getting a bit wild out there. Pop on that little love heart. I would have also put a tiny word sticker, but there are none left, so not going to do that. No idea where I was going to put that 30 there. There was nowhere that it really went, but there we go, 30. And now number 31. Perfecto. And she is done. So I am going to flick over to a quick flick through of just these 10 pages. And then next week you'll have the full kit and caboodle on the channel this same time next week. So let's have a look. I do also slow down just a little bit. All right. So that is page number 21 and 22. 23 with the gorgeous boys asleep on the sort of really thick cardboard one. So there's the fold up window, and then the 3 sort of waterfall based window. And then 26 and 27. In next week's one, there isn't glare like this, so don't stress about that. 28 and 28 is a double page. 29, 30 with a few flick ups, and 31. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching these last 10 pages. I can't wait to show you the full album next week. I will see you all then.